In the vastness of space, humanity once dreamed of conquering new worlds. But what happens when those dreams turn to dust? Imagine landing on a distant planet, expecting to find life, only to be greeted by silence, deafening, unyielding silence. This isn't just any abandoned colony. It's a place where time itself seems frozen, a tomb for the hopes of an entire civilization. What secrets lie buried beneath its rusted walls? Why did they vanish without a trace? And most chillingly, are we truly alone? As our crew of explorers delves deeper into this forgotten outpost, they uncover artifacts that defy explanation, traces of experiments gone horribly wrong, and whispers of something far older than humanity itself. Each step brings them closer to the truth, but also closer to danger. Will they escape with their lives, or will they become part of the mystery forever? Prepare to embark on a journey through the stars, where every discovery raises more questions than answers. If you're ready to explore the unknown, hit subscribe now because the next frontier might just hold the key to humanity's darkest secrets. The ship descended slowly, its thrusters casting long shadows across the barren landscape below. The planet was supposed to be uninhabited, a desolate rock orbiting a dying star. Yet, as the crew scanned the surface, anomalies began to appear, structures too symmetrical to be natural formations, metallic glints reflecting faint sunlight. They had been sent here on a routine mission, tasked with mapping potential colonization sites. No one expected to find evidence of human presence. The leader of the expedition, Commander Elena Voss, stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the data streaming across the monitors. She felt a strange unease creeping over her, though she couldn't explain why. It wasn't fear exactly, it was curiosity laced with dread. Something about this place felt off. As the shuttle touched down, kicking up clouds of fine red dust, the team disembarked cautiously, their boots crunching against the alien soil. Before them stretched ruins unlike anything humanity had ever built. Towering spires jutted out from the ground like jagged teeth, their surfaces scarred by centuries of neglect. Faint etchings adorned some of the walls, symbols that seemed vaguely familiar yet utterly alien. The air was thick with an oppressive stillness, broken only by the distant hum of the ship's engines. Every instinct screamed at them to leave, to turn back before it was too late. But duty called, and so did the promise of discovery. The team moved forward, their footsteps echoing eerily in the silence. Their scanners picked up faint energy signatures emanating from within the structures, hinting at dormant technology waiting to be reactivated. Dr. Marcus Hale, the mission's chief scientist, led the way, his eyes scanning every detail with clinical precision. He noted how the architecture combined elements of Earth's design principles with something entirely foreign, as if the builders had borrowed ideas from another species altogether. Inside the first building, they found rooms filled with equipment coated in layers of dust. Computers sat dark and lifeless, their screens cracked and shattered. Desks were littered with papers, some bearing writing in languages no one recognized. Others contained fragments of equations and diagrams that made little sense. It was clear whoever lived here had been conducting extensive research, but into what remained a mystery. As they ventured deeper, the temperature dropped noticeably, despite the lack of environmental controls. The walls seemed to close in around them, pressing heavily on their minds. Strange noises echoed through the corridors, soft creaks and groans, as if the structure itself were alive and watching. Despite their training, each member of the team felt a growing sense of unease. They weren't alone here. Something lingered in the shadows, unseen but undeniably present. Further exploration revealed more clues about the colony's inhabitants. In one chamber, they discovered personal belongings left behind: photographs, journals, even children's toys. These items painted a picture of people not unlike themselves. Ordinary men and women trying to carve out a new life among the stars. But there was something unsettling about these relics. Many of the photographs showed faces frozen in expressions of terror, eyes wide with panic. Journal entries spoke of strange occurrences: lights flickering, voices heard in empty halls, shadows moving where none should exist. Dr. Hale carefully examined a journal belonging to someone named Dr. Alara Quinn, a biologist who appeared to have played a key role in the colony's operations. Her notes detailed experiments involving local flora and fauna, attempts to adapt them for human consumption. But midway through, her tone shifted dramatically. Entries became frantic, disjointed. She described seeing things, shapes in the corners of her vision, movements too fast to track. Colleagues disappeared overnight, leaving behind only cryptic messages scrawled on walls. It was becoming increasingly clear that whatever happened here hadn't been sudden. The colony's downfall had unfolded gradually, driven by forces beyond comprehension. The team pressed onward, determined to piece together the puzzle, though each clue brought them closer to a truth they might not survive to share. Deep within the heart of the complex, they stumbled upon a sealed door marked with warnings in multiple languages, including English. Containment zone, it read. Beyond lay a labyrinthine network of laboratories, each more disturbing than the last. Specimens floated in glass tanks, preserved in gelatinous fluids. Some bore resemblance to terrestrial creatures, while others defied classification entirely. Tentacles writhed lazily inside one tank, while another housed what looked like a humanoid figure suspended mid-transformation. Dr. Hale theorized that the colonists had attempted to merge human DNA with indigenous life forms, perhaps seeking to enhance survival capabilities in the harsh environment. However, the results suggested catastrophic failure. Logs recovered from nearby terminals told of subjects breaking free, wreaking havoc on the facility. Security footage captured fleeting glimpses of monstrous hybrids stalking the halls, hunting down anyone unlucky enough to cross their path. Yet, amidst the chaos, there were hints of success. Certain logs referenced individuals exhibiting extraordinary abilities, enhanced strength, heightened senses, even rudimentary telepathy. Could these experiments have unlocked the next stage of human evolution? Or had they unleashed a nightmare from which there was no waking? As night fell, or what passed for night on this alien world, the team settled into a makeshift camp within the ruins. Sleep came fitfully, plagued by dreams that felt all too real. Visions of shadowy figures looming over beds, whispers urging them to join the lost souls trapped between dimensions. When morning arrived, exhaustion hung heavy over the group, but they pushed forward nonetheless. Their search led them to a central control room, its consoles miraculously intact. With some effort, Dr. Hale managed to restore power, illuminating holographic displays that revealed the full scope of the colony's activities. Maps showed extensive underground tunnels branching out beneath the surface, connecting various sectors of the facility. Surveillance feeds displayed scenes of daily life prior to the collapse, people working, laughing, living normal lives. Then came the recordings of the end times, showing panicked evacuations, desperate attempts to contain breaches, and finally, nothing but static. Among the files, they uncovered audio logs detailing communications with Earth. Requests for assistance went unanswered, pleas for evacuation ignored. The colony had been abandoned by those who sent them here, left to fend for themselves against horrors unimaginable. Betrayal added salt to the wound of extinction. At the center of the compound stood a towering black monolith, its surface smooth and featureless save for intricate carvings etched into its base. The symbols matched those seen earlier, but now they pulsed faintly with an inner light. Approaching it triggered a reaction. The carvings began to glow brighter, projecting images onto the surrounding walls. Scenes of ancient civilizations, star maps, and mathematical formulas danced across the stone, telling a story older than humanity itself. Dr. Hale hypothesized that the monolith predated the colony, possibly serving as inspiration for their experiments. Its creators, whoever they were, possessed knowledge far beyond current understanding. Perhaps the colonists sought to harness this wisdom, believing it would grant mastery over biology and physics alike. Instead, they awakened something they could neither control nor comprehend. The projection shifted suddenly, focusing on a series of coordinates outside the known galaxy. A destination, perhaps, or a warning. Before anyone could react, the monolith emitted a low-frequency hum, resonating through their very bones. Pain shot through their skulls, forcing them to their knees. When the sensation subsided, they realized something fundamental had changed. They could hear voices, soft and insistent, speaking directly into their minds. The voices grew louder, clearer, until individual words became discernible. They spoke of unity, transformation, transcendence. Promises of immortality mingled with threats of annihilation. Each team member experienced the phenomenon differently. Some saw visions of utopia, others witnessed apocalyptic landscapes. Whatever intelligence resided within the monolith communicated on levels both conscious and subconscious, manipulating emotions and thoughts with terrifying ease. Commander Voss struggled to maintain authority, her resolve wavering under the weight of conflicting impulses. Part of her wanted to destroy the artifact, eradicate its influence before it consumed them all. Another part urged surrender, submission to whatever entity offered such profound connection. Around her, the team faltered, torn between loyalty to humanity and temptation towards something greater. Dr. Hale, meanwhile, fixated on deciphering the message. His analytical mind sought patterns, logic amidst the chaos. Slowly, he pieced together fragments of meaning, realizing the voices weren't merely communicating, they were negotiating. The monolith represented a gateway, a bridge between worlds. Crossing required sacrifice, but promised rewards beyond measure. Whether this was salvation or damnation remained uncertain. With each passing hour, the presence grew stronger, manifesting physically as well as mentally. Figures emerged from the darkness, indistinct yet undeniable. At first glance, they resembled humans, but closer inspection revealed grotesque deformities, elongated limbs, translucent skin, eyes devoid of pupils. They moved silently, observing the intruders with detached curiosity. These entities bore resemblance to descriptions in Dr. Quinn's journal, suggesting they were remnants of failed experiments. Yet, their behavior implied sentience, purpose. They didn't attack outright, instead circling the group, studying reactions. Occasionally, one would reach out, brushing fingertips against flesh, eliciting shivers of revulsion. Touch carried memories, not theirs, but of those who came before. Flashes of pain, terror, despair flooded the minds of anyone unfortunate enough to make contact. Despite the danger, the team pressed on, driven by morbid fascination. They needed answers, even if it meant confronting abominations born of hubris. Every encounter chipped away at sanity, eroding boundaries between reality and nightmare. Still, they clung to hope that somewhere within this twisted tapestry lay a thread leading back to safety. Exploration took its toll, fraying nerves and fracturing cohesion. Arguments erupted over strategy, trust eroded under suspicion. Was the monolith truly offering salvation, or was it luring them deeper into madness? Without consensus, decisions became fragmented, actions reckless. Equipment malfunctioned inexplicably, further isolating the team from external support. One by one, members succumbed to paranoia, convinced the others harbored malicious intent. Hallucinations blurred the line between ally and enemy, making cooperation nearly impossible. Only Commander Voss retained semblance of leadership, though her grip loosened daily. She ordered retreat repeatedly. Yet orders went unheeded. The pull of the monolith proved irresistible, overriding rational thought. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Hale continued analyzing data, searching for patterns overlooked by others. His obsession bordered on mania, sleep deprivation exacerbating erratic behavior. Yet, breakthroughs emerged. Connections formed between colonial experiments, monolithic symbols, and shadowy apparitions. Everything pointed toward convergence, a singular event destined to reshape existence. Through painstaking analysis, Dr. Hale uncovered references to an ancient race predating known history. Dubbed the Architects in recovered texts, they allegedly seeded life across galaxies, guiding evolution according to designs incomprehensible to lesser species. Evidence suggested the monolith served as a beacon, drawing attention to promising candidates for advancement. Colonists unwittingly tapped into this legacy, attempting to emulate processes far beyond their grasp. Their efforts attracted not only architect technology but also guardians, hybrid creations designed to protect sacred knowledge. These beings, once revered as gods, devolved into monsters when corrupted by human ambition. Understanding dawned alongside horror. Humanity hadn't stumbled upon greatness, they'd trespassed upon divinity. The voices weren't negotiations, they were ultimatums. Acceptance required relinquishing identity, merging with collective consciousness. Refusal condemned trespassers to oblivion. Faced with impossible choice, the team fractured further. Some advocated destruction, believing eradication preferable to assimilation. Others argued acceptance, viewing integration as inevitable evolution. Neither option guaranteed survival, let alone redemption. Commander Voss intervened decisively, proposing compromise. Using recovered schematics, they devised a plan to disable monolith temporarily, allowing escape window. Execution demanded coordination, courage, and faith unlikely given circumstances. Nevertheless, desperation forged temporary alliance. Preparations commenced hastily, utilizing scavenged materials. Devices rigged to overload core mechanisms, triggering chain reaction intended to sever link. Timing crucial, failure meant entrapment eternal. Meanwhile, shadows closed ranks, sensing interference. Aggression escalated, attacks intensified. Casualties mounted rapidly, testing resolve. Hope dwindled alongside numbers, yet determination persisted. Final moments ticked away agonizingly slow. Devices primed, position secured, countdown initiated. Tension coiled tight, anticipation suffocating. Entities converged en masse, overwhelming defenses. Chaos reigned supreme, survival reduced to reflex. Explosions rocked foundation, shaking loose debris. Light flared blindingly bright, searing retinas. Sound deafened ears, disorienting senses. Amidst pandemonium, orders barked sharp, urgent. Retreat executed flawlessly despite odds. Escape route navigated blindly, guided solely by memory. Obstacles bypassed narrowly, injuries sustained silently. Progress measured breath by ragged breath, meter by perilous meter. Distance widened incrementally, freedom tantalizingly close. Reaching shuttle brought fleeting relief, tempered by grief. Faces absent, voices silenced permanently. Mission accomplished at cost unspeakable. Survivors boarded solemnly, burdened by survivor guilt. As engines roared to life, final glance cast backward revealed devastation complete. Ruins reduced to rubble, monoliths shattered irreparably. Echoes faded quietly, ghosts laid rest momentarily. Journey home awaited, laden questions unanswered. Reflection consumed return voyage. Lessons learned painful yet invaluable. Hubris humbled, humility restored. Future uncertain, caution paramount moving forward. Arrival heralded mixed reception. Triumph overshadowed tragedy, accolades tempered mourning. Reports filed meticulously, findings scrutinized thoroughly. Public hailed heroes, colleagues questioned ethics. Debriefings stretched on for days, each session more grueling than the last. The survivors recounted their harrowing journey in painstaking detail, though certain aspects were deliberately omitted. How could they explain the voices that still lingered at the edges of their minds? Or the shadows that sometimes seemed to flicker in their peripheral vision, even under the bright lights of Earth's briefing rooms? These were truths too unsettling to share, burdens too heavy for others to bear. Publicly, the mission was hailed as a success, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Behind closed doors, however, debates raged about the implications of their discovery. Governments whispered of weaponizing the technology recovered from the ruins. Corporations dreamed of exploiting the biological advancements hinted at in the logs. Scientists argued over whether the monolith's secrets should be pursued further or buried forever. For Commander Voss and her remaining crew, there was no celebration, only a gnawing sense of unease. They had escaped with their lives, but they couldn't shake the feeling that part of them had been left behind. The monolith's influence hadn't vanished. It had merely gone dormant, waiting for its next opportunity to awaken. Months passed, then years. Life on Earth moved forward, yet the survivors found themselves unable to fully reintegrate. Nightmares plagued their sleep, waking them in cold sweats. Conversations with loved ones felt hollow, as if an invisible barrier now separated them from the rest of humanity. They tried to move on, to rebuild their lives, but the pull of the unknown remained. One by one, they began receiving strange messages, cryptic symbols appearing on their devices, coordinates etched into their dreams. At first, they dismissed these occurrences as stress-induced hallucinations. But when Dr. Hale discovered identical markings in ancient texts unrelated to the colony, he knew they weren't imagining things. The architects, or whatever force they represented, were calling them back. In secret, the survivors reunited, drawn together by shared experiences and unspoken fears. They debated whether to answer the summons, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. Could they uncover a way to sever the connection once and for all? Or would returning mean embracing the same fate that befell the lost colonists? Ultimately, curiosity outweighed caution. Together, they prepared for another journey into the void, knowing full well it might be their last. As their ship launched into the stars, they left behind everything familiar, driven by a mixture of hope and dread. Perhaps this time, they would find not just answers, but redemption. If you're fascinated by tales of cosmic horror and humanity's relentless pursuit of knowledge, don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling adventures across the universe.